The marketplace on the space station was always noisy and full of life. People from many worlds came to buy and sell almost everything. There were bright lights, voices shouting, and the smell of strange foods in the air. At the edge of the market, a small group had gathered around a tired alien girl with pale blue skin. Her name was Lyra. Her arms were thin and her clothes were old and dirty. She sat quietly on a small bench, her eyes looking down at the floor. Next to her stood a large alien trader who looked bored. He was trying to sell her, but nobody seemed to care. Most buyers were looking for machines, tools, or rare spices. Some laughed and called Lyra worthless. Others did not even look at her. Lyra felt cold and empty inside. She remembered her home planet, a place full of green trees and soft grass. Her family had loved her, but she had lost them a long time ago. She did not know if she would ever see them again. Now, she was only something to be sold. She felt like nothing. The trader shouted again, trying to get the attention of people walking by. He called out the price for Lyra, which was so low it was almost nothing. No one stopped. The trader grew angry and said he would take even less. Lyra was afraid. She did not know where she would go next or what her new owner would do to her. As the crowd began to leave, a human man stopped a few steps away from Lyra and watched. He had kind brown eyes and dark hair that was starting to turn gray. His name was Ethan. He wore simple clothes and carried a small bag on his back. He looked different from the other people at the market. Ethan saw the way Lyra kept her head down and how she did not speak. He saw that she was scared and alone. Ethan walked over to the trader. He asked about Lyra and listened as the trader complained. The trader said she was weak and did not work fast enough. He said he needed to sell her today and would take any price. Ethan did not like the way the trader talked. He could see that Lyra was not a machine or an object. She was just a girl who needed help. Lyra looked up at Ethan with wide eyes. She had seen many faces, but something in his eyes made her pause. He was not angry or cruel. He looked at her like she was a person. Ethan asked her if she was hurt, but Lyra was too scared to answer. She wanted to trust him, but she had learned to be careful. Many people had lied to her before. Ethan paid the trader a few coins and took the papers for the sale. The trader did not care. He was just happy to have the money. He left quickly, leaving Lyra and Ethan standing together in the market. Ethan turned to Lyra and spoke softly. He told her his name and asked for hers. Lyra waited a moment, then said her name in a quiet voice. Ethan told Lyra that she did not have to be afraid. He said he would not hurt her. He said she could come with him to his ship if she wanted, or she could stay here and be free. Lyra looked around at the people in the market. She saw that nobody else noticed her. She did not know where to go. After a moment, she followed Ethan. They walked through the busy halls of the space station. Ethan walked slowly so Lyra could keep up. He did not touch her or push her. Lyra felt a little less scared. When they reached his ship, Ethan opened the door and let her step inside first. The ship was small but clean. There was a bed, a table, and a warm light. It smelled safe. Ethan found a blanket and gave it to Lyra. He told her she could sit or lie down wherever she liked. He made some food and put a plate in front of her. The food was simple, but it was warm and smelled good. Lyra had not eaten a real meal in days. She ate slowly at first, not sure if it was all for her. Ethan just sat at the table and waited. He did not rush her. When she was done, Ethan showed her the small washroom and some fresh clothes. He told her she could wash if she wanted. Lyra took the clothes and went to the washroom. She looked in the mirror and saw her own face for the first time in months. She washed her hands and face and put on the clean clothes. They were a little big, but they were soft and comfortable. Lyra walked back into the main room and found Ethan sitting with a small book in his hands. He smiled at her and asked if she wanted to rest. Lyra nodded. She sat on the edge of the bed, but Ethan told her she could sleep there if she liked. He said he would stay in the chair. Lyra lay down, pulling the blanket over herself. For the first time in a long time, she felt a little bit safe. As Lyra closed her eyes, she listened to the quiet hum of the ship. She wondered what would happen next. She was still afraid, but she hoped Ethan was different from the others. She did not know why he had helped her. She did not know if she could trust him, but for now, she let herself rest. Outside, the lights of the space station flickered as people went on with their lives. Inside the small ship, Lyra started to dream of a place where she could be free. When Lyra woke up, she did not know where she was at first. The bed was soft and warm, the room was quiet. For a few seconds, she almost forgot about the market and the loud traders. Then she remembered the ship and the kind man who brought her. Here, Lyra sat up and listened. She heard Ethan moving around in the next room. Ethan was making breakfast. He used a small pan and some eggs from a container. He did not say anything at first, but he saw Lyra come in and smiled. He asked if she slept well. Lyra nodded. She still felt shy and a little afraid, but Ethan's gentle voice made her feel calmer. He told her to sit at the table. When the food was ready, he put some on a plate and gave it to her. Lyra ate slowly. She was not used to eating good food every day after breakfast. Ethan asked Lyra what she wanted to do. Lyra was surprised. No one ever asked her what she wanted before. She did not know how to answer. Ethan said she could rest or read books or just look around the ship. He said he had some things to fix on the ship, but she could stay with him if she wanted. Lyra chose to watch Ethan work. Ethan opened a box of tools and started to fix a small part on the ship's engine. Lyra sat nearby, watching his hands move. She liked how quiet and calm he was. He did not shout or get angry. Sometimes he explained what he was doing. He showed her how to use a small tool to help him. Lyra was careful, and Ethan said she was good at it. She felt proud for the first time in a long while. Later, Ethan showed Lyra around the ship. He pointed out the air filters, the water tank, and the storage room. He told her about the small garden where he grew green plants for food. Lyra had never seen a human ship like this before. She liked the way the light came in through the small window in the garden room. She touched the green leaves with her fingers and smiled. In the afternoon, Ethan got a message on his ship's screen. It was from a friend on the space station. The message said there were some jobs on the station if Ethan needed work. Ethan turned to Lyra and asked if she wanted to go out with him or if she wanted to stay on the ship. Lyra thought about the noisy market and the people who stared at her. She felt scared to go outside, but she also wanted to be brave. She told Ethan she wanted to go with him. Ethan and Lyra left the ship and walked through the busy halls of the station. Many people stared at Lyra, but Ethan stayed close to her. He spoke quietly to her when she looked nervous. He showed her the market again, but this time they only walked by. Ethan bought her a sweet drink and a soft bread roll. Lyra tasted the sweet drink and smiled. It was something new. While Ethan spoke with his friend, Lyra watched the people around her. She saw families, traders, and workers from different worlds. She saw other aliens too, but none looked quite like her. Some people looked at her with curiosity, but nobody said anything mean. Lyra stayed close to Ethan, holding the drink in her hands. After the meeting, Ethan and Lyra walked back to the ship. They passed by a small store selling clothes. Ethan stopped and looked at the clothes. He picked out a simple dress in soft blue, close to Lyra's own skin color. He handed it to Lyra and asked if she liked it. Lyra looked at the dress, not sure what to say. She had never owned anything of her own before. She nodded and said thank you. Ethan bought the dress for her and gave it to her in a bag. When they got back to the ship, Lyra tried on the new dress. It fit her well and made her feel comfortable. She looked in the mirror and smiled at herself. Ethan saw her and said she looked nice. Lyra felt shy but happy. It was the first time someone had given her something just for her. As the day went on, Lyra started to talk more. She told Ethan about her favorite food from her home planet and about the games she played as a child. Ethan listened carefully and asked questions. He told her stories about Earth and the different places he had visited. Lyra was surprised to learn that humans also had troubles and worries. Just like her people, that night Ethan cooked a simple dinner. They ate together and talked. After dinner, Lyra helped wash the dishes. She felt useful and needed. Ethan thanked her for her help. Lyra did not know why, but she started to feel a little lighter inside. She did not feel so empty anymore. Before going to sleep, Ethan sat down and read from his book. He let Lyra sit next to him and listen. The story was about a boy who traveled across the stars to find his family. Lyra listened closely, thinking about her own family. She missed them. But she also felt hope for the first time in a long while. When it was time to sleep, Lyra lay down on the bed. Ethan turned off the light but left a small lamp on for her so she would not be afraid in the dark. As she closed her eyes, Lyra thought about everything that happened that day. She was still scared about the future, but she also felt safe with Ethan. She hoped she could stay with him longer. Maybe one day she would find her place in this big universe. As the ship floated in the quiet night above the station, Lyra started to dream of new beginnings. She did not know what would happen next, but for the first time, she wanted to find out. The next morning, Lyra woke feeling more rested. The soft bed and warm blanket helped her sleep better than she had in a long time. When she stepped out of her room, Ethan was already awake and making tea. The smell of the warm drink filled the small kitchen area. He smiled when he saw her and offered a cup. Lyra accepted it shyly. They sat together at the table. Ethan asked Lyra if she wanted to talk about her home. Lyra was nervous but nodded. She wanted to share her story but did not know where to begin. Ethan listened patiently as she told small parts. She spoke about the blue forests where she grew up and the bright stars that shone at night. She talked about her family, but her voice was quiet when she said she had lost them. Ethan did not rush her. He asked gentle questions, showing he cared. He told her that it was okay to feel sad and scared, but also that she was not alone now. Lyra looked at Ethan and saw the kindness in his eyes. She began to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could trust him. After their talk, Ethan suggested that they should explore the station together. Lyra was still afraid, but she agreed. They left the ship and walked through the corridors. This time, Lyra held Ethan's hand. The touch was new to her but comforting. People still looked at her with curiosity, but Ethan stayed close, protecting her from any trouble. They visited a small park inside the station. The park had trees, flowers, and a small pond with fish. Lyra sat by the water and watched the fish swim. She told Ethan how much she missed the rivers on her planet. Ethan smiled and promised to take her to see more beautiful places one day. As they walked back, Ethan stopped at a small market stall. He bought a soft toy for Lyra, a small blue creature that looked like a friendly alien. Lyra hugged it tightly. She had never had a toy before. It made her feel safe. That evening, while Ethan repaired some parts of the ship, Lyra found a small book. The book had pictures of different planets and stars. She looked at the pictures and imagined what life was like far away. Ethan saw her interest and explained some of the planets. He told her stories about his travels and the people he met. Lyra listened closely. She felt excited to learn more. For the first time, she thought about a future where she could travel and see new worlds. She also thought about the people she could meet, people who might be kind like Ethan. After dinner, Ethan and Lyra sat by the small window in the ship's garden. The plants swayed gently in the air. Ethan asked Lyra if she wanted to learn how to grow plants like these. Lyra smiled and said yes. She felt happy to try something new. Ethan showed her how to water the plants and care for them. Lyra was careful and gentle. She felt proud when a small leaf grew bigger under her touch. The simple act of caring for the plants made her feel connected to life again. That night, before sleeping, Lyra spoke more about her past. She told Ethan about the hard times, how she was captured and sold many times. Her voice was quiet but strong. Ethan held her hand and promised that she would never be alone again. Lyra looked at Ethan and felt something she had never felt before: hope. She closed her eyes, feeling safe and cared for. The stars outside the window shone brightly, and for the first time in a long time, Lyra dreamed of freedom and friendship. Days passed quietly on the ship. Lyra grew stronger and more curious. She learned how to help Ethan with small tasks. Sometimes she helped fix tools or clean the ship. Ethan was patient and kind, never rushing her. He asked her questions about her culture and listened carefully. Lyra felt her heart open a little more each day. One morning, as they prepared to leave the ship for the station, Ethan warned Lyra to stay close. The space station was busy, and not all people were kind. Lyra nodded, remembering the cold looks and harsh words from before. They walked into the crowded market. The sounds were loud and people hurried past. Some stopped to look at Lyra, whispering among themselves. Ethan held her hand tightly, guiding her through the crowd. Suddenly, two men in dark uniforms approached them. They had stern faces and carried official badges. The men said they were guards from the station's security force. They asked for Lyra's identification. Ethan showed the papers that proved he had legally bought her. The guards looked at the documents but frowned. They said there was a complaint from her former owners. They claimed Lyra was their property and must return. Ethan stood firm. He told the guards that the sale was legal and that Lyra was free now. The guards said they must take Lyra for a hearing to decide her fate. Lyra's heart beat fast. She looked at Ethan, scared and confused. Ethan told Lyra to stay calm. He promised to help her and not leave her side. The guards led them to a nearby building where the hearing would take place. Inside, the room was cold and filled with serious faces. A judge sat behind a large desk. The former owners of Lyra were there, dressed in fine clothes. They looked down at Lyra with anger. Lyra felt small and scared. She wanted to run, but Ethan held her hand. When it was her turn to speak, she took a deep breath. She told the judge about her life, the pain of being sold, and the hope she found with Ethan. Her voice was soft but clear. Ethan spoke too. He told the judge that no one should be owned or sold like an object. He asked for Lyra's freedom and for the station to protect her rights. The judge listened carefully. After a long pause, he said the laws were changing. Selling sentient beings was no longer allowed on the station. Lyra was free. The former owners had no right to claim her. Lyra felt tears in her eyes. She looked at Ethan and smiled. He smiled back and squeezed her hand gently. After the hearing, people on the station began to talk about what happened. Many agreed that buying and selling beings like Lyra was wrong. Changes were made to protect others from suffering as she had. Lyra stayed with Ethan. She felt safe and free for the first time. She began to dream about a future where she could live her own life and help others. That night, on the ship, Ethan and Lyra talked about their plans. They wanted to travel to new places, meet new people, and find new friends. Lyra felt hopeful. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but with Ethan by her side, she was ready to face it. The stars outside the window shone bright, lighting the way for new adventures and new beginnings. The days after the hearing were quiet but full of new hope. Lyra felt like she was waking from a long, dark sleep. She no longer had to hide or be afraid. She was free. Ethan helped her learn how to live this new life. He showed her how to use the ship's computer, how to prepare food, and how to plan their journeys. One morning, Ethan told Lyra they would visit a nearby planet known for its friendly people and beautiful landscapes. Lyra felt excited and nervous. She had never been to a new world before. She wondered what it would be like to meet others who had never known her story. The ship flew smoothly through space. Lyra looked out the window at the stars and planets passing by. Ethan told her stories about other travelers and the adventures they had. Lyra listened with wide eyes, imagining herself among the stars. When they landed, the air smelled fresh and clean. The planet was green with tall trees and colorful flowers. Lyra smiled as she walked beside Ethan. She felt the soft grass under her feet and the warm sun on her skin. People on the planet looked different from both Lyra and Ethan, but they greeted them with smiles. They asked questions about the ship and their travels. Lyra was shy at first, but soon began to answer with the help of Ethan. One day, while exploring a market in a small town, Lyra saw a group of children playing. She watched them laugh and run. Ethan noticed and asked if she wanted to join them. Lyra hesitated, but then agreed. The children welcomed her. They showed her their games and shared their snacks. Lyra laughed for the first time in a long time. She felt like a child again, free and happy. Ethan watched with a smile, glad to see her joy. As the days went by, Lyra and Ethan made new friends. They met families who told stories of kindness and courage. Lyra learned about different ways people lived and cared for each other. She felt her heart grow with hope and strength. One evening, as the sun set, Lyra and Ethan sat by a campfire with their new friends. The sky was filled with stars, and the firelight danced on their faces. Lyra told a story from her home planet about the blue forests and the bright stars. Her friends listened quietly, their eyes wide with wonder. Ethan looked at Lyra and saw how much she had changed. She was no longer the scared girl from the market. She was strong, kind, and full of life. He felt proud to have helped her find herself. Lyra knew she still had a long journey ahead. There were places she had never seen and people she wanted to help, but she was not afraid anymore. With Ethan and her new friends, she felt she could face anything. As the fire burned low, Lyra and Ethan looked up at the stars. They dreamed of new worlds, new adventures, and a future where everyone could be free and safe. Lyra woke early with the soft light of the morning shining through the ship's window. She felt a calm inside her she had never known before. The past was heavy, but now it seemed lighter. She was no longer alone. Ethan was there, and so were the friends they had made. She smiled as she looked at the stars outside, thinking about the journey still ahead. Ethan was already preparing breakfast. He moved quietly so as not to wake her too soon. When Lyra came to the table, he gave her a warm smile. They ate together, sharing stories and plans. Ethan said he had found work on a nearby space station that could pay well. He hoped it would help them have a better future. Lyra listened and nodded. She was ready to face the challenges that might come. She wanted to help Ethan to be part of this new life. They talked about their dreams, traveling to new planets, meeting new people, and helping those who were lost or in need. After breakfast, they began to prepare the ship for takeoff. Lyra helped Ethan pack supplies and check the engines. She felt strong and useful. The small ship was their home and their hope. As the engines roared to life, Lyra looked out at the endless space around them. It was vast and unknown, but she felt ready. The ship flew smoothly toward the space station. When they arrived, the station was busy with ships coming and going. Ethan had arranged to meet a contact who could help them find work. Lyra stayed close, watching the busy halls and the many faces. Some were friendly, others not. But Lyra knew she had Ethan, and that made her brave. The contact was a tall woman named Claire. She greeted Ethan warmly and listened to their story. Claire said she had heard about Lyra's case and was happy to help. She offered them work delivering supplies to colonies on the edge of explored space. It was dangerous, but the pay was good. Ethan and Lyra agreed. They packed their ship with goods and prepared to leave again. Lyra felt a mix of excitement and fear. The unknown was scary, but it was also full of promise. As they traveled, Lyra learned more about the different worlds they visited. Some were dry and hot, others cold and dark. Each place had its own people and stories. Lyra shared her own story when she could, and many listened with respect. On one planet, they met a group of freed aliens who had escaped slavery. Lyra talked with them and felt a deep connection. She promised to help them find safety and freedom. Ethan and Lyra began to see their journey not just as a way to survive, but as a mission to bring hope to others. One night, while resting on the ship, Ethan and Lyra talked about the future. Lyra said she wanted to start a place where freed aliens could live safely. Ethan smiled and said they could work together to make it happen. Their bond grew stronger each day. They were no longer just a man and a girl from different worlds. They were partners, friends, and family. As the stars passed outside their window, Lyra felt a deep peace. The world was big and sometimes cruel, but it was also full of kindness and courage. She knew her life had changed because one human saw her as more than just a slave. Together they would